know that you were going to be a ceramic artist, or did life throw you a curveball?
I actually wanted to be a professional movement artist. And after that, I was thinking, should I be a fashion designer? So you can see how far away I started, really far away from where I am right now. But wanting to do those things did get me here. From there, I kept crafting. I even dropped out in my last year. I even went through a series of going through yoga teacher training to doing contemporary dancing in Goa and Bangalore. And then I even did a little bit of digital marketing, blogging, whatnot. Like there was these extremes that I was touching upon. And lastly, like, when I actually joined Pottery was just to catch a break from, turning every hobby into a profession. I was so tired of my own need to make money out of every hobby. And then I did Pottery for 3 months. And when I come back, I stopped trusting myself that, I'm like, okay, I like this, but I'm not sure if it is just the high of something new, or is it something that I can actually be disciplined in? Because pottery is very intensive. It needs so much commitment. So yeah, I actually took an entire year to be like, okay, you know what? I'm not extremely excited. At the same time, I don't want to do something else. So that's when I just kept going, and then I saw there is stability. So yeah, life did throw me a curveball.
Describe your body of work in 3 words.
Yeah, I love that question. Whenever I'm making something, whenever I'm like, okay, these 2 months I'm going to take some time and I'm going to make my work, it always reflects what I'm going through. It's not that, I'm happy so my pots are happy. It's not that. Sometimes it's also complementary. Like, for example, if I'm craving for some stability, if I'm craving for some strength, some consistency, my pots start showing that. So you also start taking up things that you need in your life. So when I was thinking about what is my style or body of work like, I just couldn't pinpoint. Everything I do is so sometimes pulls apart. At the same time, there is a common thread which I feel would be honest, and honesty not in this pseudo manner that I'm being authentic. It's really difficult. I think if you just let yourself relax and not really think about honesty, it can come through. Then I would say also I do like function. How much ever I appreciate non-functional art, I appreciate it a lot, and I have such art, but I do not make such. So I always stick to very functional. And lastly, I never see myself wanting to go in the direction of anything which is not to the point. Like, no BS, really. And I want non-potters, non-artists to understand. Like, I don't think that I feel very good when a non-potter does not understand my work. They must. And they must use it, and it gets transferred to them, and so on and so forth. So I'm a big believer of wanting my art to be understood by non-artists as well. Artists definitely do understand. So yeah, that's my style of work.
And what would be the most valuable lesson that clay has taught you? What you feel?
God, like I joke with my students that I should write a book known as Clay Philosophy, because even when I really want to. I think in the coming years I will work on it, because when I'm teaching, I have to explain them in a way that they understand, and I go into metaphor after metaphors, like even if it is a metaphor through driving or a metaphor through, how they are in the kitchen, it's always like a reference. So, but one of my favorite teachings that clay has solely taught me is how to be centered and to stay centered, and how to even like if you do get a wobble because you did not stay centered, how to realign yourself. And again, I did put in a thought before saying this, because centering is something that could feel very cliche. At the same time, when you're on a potter's wheel, you will not get a pot till the time you are centered and then the clay is centered, and only then can you do something about anything in this field. So even beginner students who've never touched clay before have to first work on centering themselves and the clay, and then we go along with the classes. And it's interesting because that's the most frustrating part of the entire craft, which is taught first day we do centering, because centering can come very naturally, and it can come after weeks of practice also, and it basically reflects where you are at with your own self. And I know for a fact that how much ever skill you have, if you're not centered within your own self, it's very hard to be with the clay. And the clay keeps reminding you that you're out of, you're out of whack, or you're out of alignment. And sometimes, I'm going, how we all are, you're getting stressed out, you're getting pissed or at somebody or something, at a situation. And I have to remind myself, okay, that's my wobble, right? Like that's when the clay is wobbling. So realign yourself, keep getting yourself back to center, and only then let's take action. Because if I take action from a wobbly space, I'm going to get the wobbly pot. So that's what it teaches me. It's just so beautiful.
Really nice. Yeah, it's such a beautiful thought.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps while I'm talking, because I really mean it.
So, what do you believe is the artist's role in society today?
I think we need to inspire. We are somebody who have taken up making art as our livelihood. But I feel that everybody has the same creative energy, which they are putting. Maybe they're not earning money through it, but they have the same energy in them. And sometimes when they interact with a piece or anything that's made by an artist, they are able to reconnect with their own artist self. When you are surrounded by art, you are inspired to also let that energy out, and that makes our life pretty amazing. So I don't think it's big. I think it's just about helping and inspiring others to reconnect with their own artist self. So if the artist wants the interactor to feel a more bold emotion, maybe anger or a feeling of protest, it can do so.
Okay, what would you like to say to somebody who's resisting change due to the fear of letting go?
Yeah. Change is constant. So that's one what I'd like to tell people, that if change is constant, then letting go should be the first thing we should be teaching ourselves. If you are not great at letting go, then maybe you take up an art form, or you take up something where letting go is it teaches you letting go, which is why a lot of people after pottery courses do get better at letting things go, because they're doing it at least 10 times a day. And each time you get too attached to a pot and it breaks, you're just like, sometimes I'm like, I got too attached. It's my problem. If I didn't get attached, maybe my pot would have survived. So I just feel that tends to trickle down into your life. You start letting go of situations, of people, of things, of clutter, when you start bringing in that practice through some other form, through some other activity. So I feel it's a very practical thing. And once you get the practice of letting go, life is beautiful.
How has slow living changed your perspective of the world and life in general?
So when I moved to the farm, till I moved to the farm, it was always an intentional practice. When I moved here, slow living became very natural. It wasn't something that I had to do on purpose, right? So that was one very interesting idea. And then there was this, when we were constructing, my husband would keep repeating, when he was constructing, and there were these materials that I would, even to me sometimes, I would want certain tiles, I would want certain plastering and something, and he would tell me how these things are such major responses to minor needs. And while talking about his work, I remember he saying that I want to use material from the 5 kilometer radius. So that would limit us. And then what we do with it, it would kind of be in sync with this quote that he would keep saying, which is major response to minor need. He would try avoiding that. So that's when I heard it, and then when I started living this life, I started seeing how I started seeing it. Basically, that's all it is. I got that perspective. I have to mention to a lot of people who think going from a city life to a farm life is all these orchards and mangoes and flowers. It was difficult for me. I used to go through these periods of wanting my city life back, of wanting the major response necessarily. I wanted those back. And so I did go through this withdrawal period, which is not very romantic. So if someone dreams of a farm life, they must know that this transition is important, and this perspective is beautiful. You start seeing that more and more, and it's very hard to go back to that. Yeah.
Are there any things that you experienced or you do that makes you feel the most alive?
Yes.
Gets that rush.
Movement. Movement. Yeah, I'm addicted to it. It can be a workout, it can be running, it can be dancing. Sometimes it's just, giving myself even a massage. It's the physical touch, it's the physical body moving. It gives me a rush. And I have to constantly move to even find my work inspiring. So yes, that's a short answer for me.
What does wearing Āroka make you feel?
Āroka, the first feeling I got when I wore Āroka, and I wore the dress to have an answer for you, was playfulness. The playfulness, the dance of the fabric on my body, where the fabric and the body is moving together. And also because movement art is so close to my heart, I could feel that with the fabric as well. I could feel that whoever's made it has made the consumer to be free. I can do so much with this one, piece of art by Āroka. One thing I felt with especially this dress was this character that I come into, which the dress is giving me. So it brings out a facet of me, of my personality, on the forefront, which I enjoy having in my life. And another thing that I don't see this as everyday wear. At the same time, I'd like to incorporate this in my everyday wear. That how can I make it comfortable in a way that I can also do pottery in it, which almost seems very unimaginable for potters because we are the worst dressed artists. But when I wear it, I'm just like, I wish I could do pottery every day in this. So it makes me want to make it everyday wear. And it gives you such a good feeling. It's very special. I do feel it's very special because it's definitely telling a story that I'd like to, resonate with, that I'd like to wear. It's telling a story, yeah.